Hi, John with eTrailer. So you've got your Ram and you've got the tow package, but you need a brake controller. We got you covered here. Check out the REDARC Tow-Pro Liberty that we installed on our 2020 Dodge Ram 1500. One of the best features of this system is the fact that just this button right here is all you're going to see when it's installed on your vehicle. Gone are the days of having this big crazy rectangular box down here by your knees that you would hit on the way in and out of your vehicle. But the operations are still very similar. You can adjust your braking intensity from 0 all the way to 10 just by turning the dial. If you need to manually apply your brakes, do so with the push of a button. This unit is proportional as well. It's something that's just great, that if you just lightly tap your brakes, it's lightly going to apply the brakes on your trailer. If you slam the brakes on, it's going to slam the brakes on your trailer. This is something that's just overall a better ride, better quality, and safer when you go down the road. When this is in auto calibration mode, the blue LED that you see will be flashing actually from blue to green to let you know that it's automatically learning the driving habits, and it knows when you apply the brakes and when you drive. All you have to do is drive your vehicle normal, and eventually it will calibrate, usually within 15 stops or so that you make. When you hit the brakes, you're going to see a red light pop up, and that lets you know the braking intensity from 10 all the way down to 0. Now, as far as installation on our Ram today, I really like this location. This is where Dodge has their factory brake controller set up already. So there was room behind this center stack for us to install it right here, and it looks great. It doesn't take away from the streamlined looks of these new interiors. And if you have the factory tow package, this is super easy to install. No cutting wires. You're simply just connecting connectors together. Now, before we begin our installation, if you have a tow package, then your truck will be equipped for a brake controller. Even if you don't have one, the tow package will include the prep connectors for your brake controller. And those are going to be located in the driver well here with this knee bolster. We're going to take this out, and I'll show you the location where the connectors should be. With your kit, you're going to get, of course, the REDARC controller, and you're going to get this separate wiring harness here. And this is what we're looking for. We're looking for the other end of this. Now, your 7mm bolt locations are here and right here. Now, with those bolts out, you can give this a tug, and it's going to feel like it doesn't want to come out and it's going to break. There are connectors back here that are holding this in. They're pretty tight, so just give it a little tug and they'll pop out. Okay, now you have wires, so be careful how far you pull them. If you look up and high near the transmission tunnel, you're going to see a bundle of wires that are taped up. I've got some blue painter's tape that are sitting right where the connectors are. There's going to be 2 connectors in there. One is has a white plastic on it. The other one has orange plastic. The one we're looking for is the white plastic. It's okay to untape both of those. So I cut them from the harness, wiring harness that they were taped to, and this is what they look like, and this is what I was saying. There's one is orange, the other one's white. That's the one we want. This is the one that's going to plug in to the REDARC connector. Now that we know where the connector is that we need for the main operating unit, now we just need to find a location for the button switch that we're actually going to be using. On the Rams from the factory, this location right here, they have the squeeze connector. Our switch today is going to be a rotary dial, and we still have enough room back here to install it here. So we're going to take this center stack out. All you need to do that is a Phillips screwdriver. Up on top of your dash, you'll see your 12-volt connector, and you'll see this little pad here. Just kind of pinch and pry up on this. It's got some pins here. But if you pull that out, you're going to expose the 2 Phillips head screws that we need to take out. Once you remove the screws, the only thing that is holding this bezel in is a series of clips, and it's going to be from the top all the way down to right here. So to remove it, you need to carefully pull out. There are going to be connections behind this, so you don't want to just yank it completely out. So it's kind of a controlled force, and it's harder than you think, and it sounds terrible, but you won't break anything. Work on this corner. Sometimes the bottom won't come out. In this instance, it did. This is it. It sounds terrible, I know, but it's just all of these clips that are holding it in. Now you can see the series of connectors back here. Take your time and unhook them so that you can bring the center section outside. This lower control panel is what we're going to be turning our attention to. We're going to slide that out from the bezel. In order to do that, there's two T15 Torx screws here and here. We need to remove those first. And then there's going to be 4 clips holding this in. We have 2 on this side, here and here, and then on the other side, they're going to be here and here. So you just need to apply pressure, not to this part, but to the actual insert itself. Just apply a little bit of pressure down to get this to start working its way down. We've cleared the catches on either here, on that side. We'll do the same over here. Just like that. And I'm just using a little punch here, little awl, and that'll come right out. I want the button centered on this. And in order to do that, you'll see on the back side, we have a plastic rib right here that we're going to need to remove. I'm going to get some snips and snip down the edges, and we can break it off, and then if we need to, we can file down the inside. We want this as flat as possible so that this switch can come through and be right in the middle here. Just take some side cutters here, and I'm going to cut down each side of the wall. And take some needle nose, we'll just go back and forth. Not a whole lot of room in here to move. If you have a hot knife, that would work great in this instance. We'll get this rib out though. Okay, so you can see we're pretty smooth down there, which is what we need. Not too worried about the edges here. Not yet. If we need to remove them further, we will. We just kind of snapped it off the base. As you can see, the front is still fine. Our next step is to find a center point where we want to install this rotary switch. We're going to need to drill 2 different sizes, 3/8" drill bit, and then the smaller 1/8" drill bit. This switch is keyed at the top up here, so it's going to be sitting in like this. So you'll drill an 1/8" hole up here, and then the larger 3/8" hole down here. There are diagrams in the instructions to help you. When you're done drilling, it should look something like this, either like a snowman or a keyhole is what we're looking at here. And just to let you know, on the inside, I did end up cleaning up all the ribs, and even down at the bottom there, I had a small Dremel with a stone on it running extremely low speed, and just clean that out so it's perfectly flat down there. And then we're going to assemble the switch. You'll see, the switch itself, you'll see this small LED light at the top, and that's why we made that keyhole. We'll dump this in here, like this. And then you're going to have this bezel in your kit. You can see the flange on it. That goes in towards the light here, and that'll fit in there. And then you're going to have this collar. You can use a 12mm socket to tighten that down. Don't hook it up to a wrench or anything. You don't need to. You can just put the socket on there and tighten that down. Not too much. It's just a switch. It's not going to go anywhere. And then rotate this counterclockwise all the way. And you're going to see the dial here. It has 0, 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 10. This is the indicator, that little LED light. So set your dial to the 0 there and just push it on. So it should be reading 0, and if you turn it clockwise, then it'll go to 10. So that's what we're looking for. We can reinstall this back into the bezel. It's just going to snap in like that, and we'll replace the 2 T15 torque screws. Now to install our cable between our control module and the rotary switch, there's a gap in here. We have plenty of room to work. You can see we made it down here. So here is the connector we need. And right on the inside of this right here, we have kind of an I-beam that's going up that we're going to be attaching our red control module to with the zip ties. I'm going to make these connections right now, and we'll show you what I've done here. The other one we can just tape up to it. This one we're not going to be using. You can see where I've mounted the main operating unit. Like I had said earlier, there is an I-beam that's going straight up and down right there, and I just took a couple of zip ties, and that is zip tied to that aluminum bracket. The connection that you see on the bottom of the unit, that's going to be the 90-degree like Ethernet cable that goes to the button switch, and then the connection up on top is what actually connects to our factory harness on our Dodge. So with the main unit mounted, we can replace our knee bolster and the 2 7mm screws that hold it up. We take this center stack here and just make all of our connections so we can reinstall it on the dash. This is going to our tow unit here. You can see why we ended up choosing the straight for this instead of the 90 going down. All right, so we have all of our connections made. Just make sure you don't have any wires hanging out, and this dash, the center stack, will just simply snap back in. Then we can replace our 2 Phillips head screws up here in the top. Then replace your rubber mat up here. Once the unit is installed and you hook up to your trailer, you're going to see the LED. If it's flashing green to blue and then back again, this means that it's in active calibration mode. All you simply have to do is just drive around, and eventually it will turn solid blue for you. Once it's solid blue, the unit is automatically calibrated and you're ready to start towing. Regardless if you hook up to a trailer or not, it will be in active calibration mode when you first hook up. You won't see the LED unless you're hooked up to your trailer though. Now once it's calibrated, you will see the blue indicator light is going to remain blue for you. And then if you hit the brakes, you can adjust, don't forget to adjust your braking force, but as you hit the brakes, it'll turn red on you, let you know your brakes are working. And that was a look at REDARC's Tow-Pro Liberty that we installed on our 2020 Dodge Ram 1500.